It is a new time to learn new things because due to some pandemic situations we are not able to conduct the classes in an offline mode. Well, so that's why we are finding some technical support to get into your touch through the concepts of biology. Well, so here I am, your VG sir. So from now onwards, we will go through the recorded videos. From that one, we will learn to some of the plant science related concepts of your second PU NCERT. Because as you are all knowing, you are all promoted from first PU to the second PU of Karnataka PU board. So once again, congratulations, and I am welcoming you all to my sessions. So from today onwards, as I said, we will go through the plant science related concepts of second PU NCERT biology. Well students, so let us go to the syllabus which is included in the second PU biology. According to NCERT, we are having the first unit called reproduction. In this reproduction, we will go with 4 chapters. One is the reproduction in organism. It is one of the general topic. And second thing is, the second chapter is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. And the third one is human reproduction. And fourth one is reproductive health. Among this, one is the general topic, which is the very foundation for the other 3 chapters. And we have already discussed some of the concepts which are related to this chapter in the previous year, especially in the morphology of flowering plants and in the plant kingdom and animal kingdom also. Well, so next chapter is the second chapter called the sexual reproduction in flowering plants. In that we will explore the concepts which are related to the angiospermic reproduction, how a flower develops and how it develops the gametes, how it produces spores, how it makes the process of fertilization through the different mechanisms of pollinations, and how it occurs to the production of a new progeny through the seed and other things. So, and in the human reproduction, we will relate it to the same with respect to human, we will discuss. And ultimately, the fourth chapter that is related to the reproductive health. So, the last two, the human reproduction and reproductive health, will be discussed for this whole as part. And I am going to explore the few concepts which are related to the reproduction in organism and sexual reproduction in flowering plant. So, dear students, let us start the first topic, which is related to the general and very foundational concept for all other chapters, is the reproduction in organisms. Well, so as we know, in the first year chapter, we have studied in the living world that reproduction is one of the main characters to differentiate between the living and non-living. Here, this reproduction is discussed based on the different types of organisms. The different modes of reproduction will be studied. Yes. As we know, biology in essence is the study of life stories on the earth. Is nothing but study of related to the life. So how the life continues? The question arises. Every life or whatever the living creature in the earth has a particular period of time, and it will live and it will die. So there is a death which ends the life. There is a birth which gives the beginning to our life. So the period between this birth to the natural death is called lifespan. Yes, lifespan. This is very important for each and every kind of an organisms. Dear kids, this lifespan depends on no factors, because lifespan doesn't depend on the size. Lifespan depends on our lifespan, that's it. So the lifespan is nothing but, as I said, it is a period between what? It is a period between the birth and natural death, because it is not an accidental. If it is only the natural, then you can say it is a lifespan of an organism. If you say it is an accidental, it is just a life period. From that, the person or organism has been lived. That's it. If it may be due to any of the ill effects or any of the diseases or whatever accidentally for a creature dies, means it is not considered as a lifespan. It is just its life period. Now we can consider that earlier we are used to say that human beings are having more than 100 years of lifespan. But now we are saying the 100 years, no, only 60. Yes, the 60 years is our average life period. But whatever, generally according to the NCERT biology, we have to define lifespan as it is a period between the birth to natural death. Right? So, but this lifespan varies from one organism to another organism. Varies from organism to organism. But it doesn't depend on size, because we can quote some examples. If you can assume an people tree and a mango tree. But mango tree is having less lifespan compared to the people tree. It is one of the botanical example. If you come across a zoological example, a crow which lives for around 15 years and a parrot which lives for 140 years. So what is the difference here? See, the size is not a material, because the parrot is smaller in the size comparatively with the crow, but crow is living 15 years. Clear? The same way, the elephant it lives for 60 to 90 years. Clear? Or the crocodile, ours, they also live for 60 years. So that's what I am saying. There is no correlation with the size of an organism. So lifespan is not correlated with size of an organism. You should remember this point, because it is very important to consider the lifespan is not related with the size of an organism. Clear? That's what I give examples. Because the crow which lives for 15 years, the same way parrot which lives for 140 years. What is making the difference in this much of difference? More than 10 times it is living more than the crow. That is how its body mechanism, genetic composition, physiological arrangement, habitat and its support, and other various factors making them to continue its life for a long period. Clear? Right. So let us see such lifespan according to the NCERT given some examples. So you can see the butterfly, fruit fly, rice, rose, crow, cow, banana, dog, crow, crocodile, and horse, elephant, tortoise, parrot, banyan tree. So these are the few picturized examples on the second page of our reproduction in organism, where some of them have been given by the NCERT itself and some of them have been given as of blanks in the text. So let us try to find the answers for those. So butterfly which lives for only a week. Okay? How many weeks? Then fruit fly, it can live for 30 days. Rice, 3 to 4 months. Rose, 5 to 7 years. Means rose bush means a rose plant, not a rose flower. Rose bush, it lives for 5 to 7 years. Crow, 15 years. Cow, which lives for 20 to 25 years. Banana, which lives for 25 years. And dog, which lives for 20 to 30 years. And then crocodile, which lives for 60 years. And for us also it is 60 years, but for infant it is 60 to 90 years of lifespan. Then what about the tortoise? And then parrot and banyan tree. So coming to tortoise, it is lives for 100 to 150 years, and parrot 140 years, and banyan tree which lives for 200 to 300 years. See children, it is very easy to remember. These lifespans of NCERT given examples, that is butterfly, fruit fly, rice, rose, crow, and I have specially mentioned these all, right? So let us see how I have made a trick here. So I have given butterfly as having a 1 to 2 weeks, right? Then I have made 30 days, then months, then years, right? Okay, let us learn the trick once again. Before that, I will recap or reglance partly the lifespan of each and every organism quoted on this board. So butterfly, which is 1 to 2 week, fruit fly, which is 30 days, and then rice, it is 3 to 4 months, rose, it is 5 to 7 years, and then crow, it is 15 years, cow, it is 20 to 25 years, banana, it is 25 years, dog, it is 20 to 30 years, and then crocodile and ox both are having 60 years of lifespan, whereas elephant is having 60 to 90 years. Along with the tortoise is having 100 to 150 years, and parrot 140 years, and then banyan tree is having 200 to 300. What is that? Means butter, cow, fruit banana. You are praying a garden. Assume like that. If you feel maybe to remember this, it's tough to remember this. Means you can remember. The trick is very simple. Butter cow fruit, rice cow rose, crow cow banana, crocodile. So along with ox cow banana, elephant. This is our prayer with our God. So then we will be in a top. So he will make us to be in a top. So he banaya humko top. Top means what? T refers to top twice. P refers to parrot. Banaya refers to banyan tree. So based on this, butter cow fruit, rice cow rose, crow cow banana dog, crow cow banana crocodile, and ox cow elephant. Banaya to हमने top बनाएंगे. So इसलिए हम भगवान से क्या करते हैं? Clear? So likewise, you can remember the tricks along with that is 1 plus 2, 3, 30 days, then 3 to 4, 3 plus again 5, 5 to 7, then 15, then 20, 25, 30, then rest of them are 60 years, and elephant we are having 60 to 90. Whereas here, tortoise, and along with that parrot, and then banyan tree. Tortoise double is banyan tree, 100 to 150 is 200 to 300 years. In between is parrot. That's why 100 to 200 is around 140 years. So this is how we can remember that the varieties of an organism with their lifespan as given in the NCERT. Is it clear? Oh, it is very easy to remember, and you got some new thing, and it is easy, right? But why I have said this means it is very important in perspective of competitive exams. Okay, so you should learn each example with their lifespans. Well, so moving forward, as we said, the life is continuing. How? That is a question, and that is what we are discussing. That is all based on the reproduction. The name itself says that reproduction. Whatever the thing is there, it has to be produced again. So from a original to another one, means the same copy has been produced. It is of its own kind. But here, the reproduction of organism means the reproduction in the organism is represented as this reproduction in the organism is nothing but it is a biological process. Right? So it is a biological process of giving birth to animals or new ones or offsprings which are of same kind. That is what the reproduction is. So once again I am repeating, reproduction is a very simple. We can define, but it is a complex process in an higher organism, simple process in an lower organism. What is that? Means reproduction is a biological process from which an parent gives rise to a new young ones or an offsprings of its own kind, which are similar to its parent. So that is what? The reproduction. But the reproduction is very simple. It is nothing but a cell division in a lower organisms or a unicellular organisms, and it is very complex like a higher organisms like human beings. Because in the further concepts we will go to discuss about the estrous cycles, menstrual cycle, internal fertilization, external fertilization, and the various mechanisms involved in the production of progenies. So let us elaborate those concepts in detail in the further discussions. But let us have some basic idea regarding this. So as we said, this reproduction is of two types based on the involvement of parents. What is that? Means if one parent is involving in the reproduction, then it is called asexual method of reproduction. Means it is a unique parental reproduction. Whereas if the two parents are involved in the reproduction, then it is usually called as the sexual reproduction. So another major difference here is the formation of gametes and fusion of gametes both formed in the sexual reproduction. There will be fusion of gametes, but there will be no fusion of gametes in the asexual reproduction. No fusions. Usually there is no need of formation of gametes also. If the gametes are formed, there is no fusion of those gametes. So if there is no fusion, there will be no zygote. That's why we can define asexual reproduction as it is a mode of reproduction where involvement of unique parent without formation or fusion of the gametes. That doesn't lead to the formation of zygote, hence there will be no zygote formation. Whereas in the sexual reproduction, it is the involvement of two parents, that is biparental reproduction, where male and female gamete fuse together to form a zygote. That process is nothing but sexual reproduction. As compared to this is very simple in the mechanism, that is asexual. The complex in the mechanism is sexual. Okay. Fine. The asexual method doesn't lead to the variations. There is no variation, but here we can see variations. That variation leads to the evolution, but in the sense of asexual reproduction, it doesn't support more evolutionary characters. So likewise, in this chapter we will learn some more differences and we will distinguish between these asexual and sexual method of reproduction. But as we know, from a reproduction process, an organism will produce a new one or an offspring or a progeny. That progeny will get develops and grows, matures, reproduces, and again it will lead to the formation of new offspring, and it enters into the cycle of life. The same way, ultimately, it has to get matured. After that, it has been producing a new offspring, and ultimately it will attain a natural death. Because death is a certainty. Death is having certainty to all the living organisms. What do you mean by this certainty? Why I am saying this means each and every creature in the life or living world is having a death, especially without any accidents or anything. It will occur or attains a death after senescence or whatever the death of the tissues or organs or whatever the failure of those things. But ultimately it will die. But thing is, there is one exception, that is the single-celled organisms or unicellular organisms. Dear students, there is a death which is certain for all the living creatures, but except single-celled organisms. Why I am saying this means you can remember the amoeba, which will get divides and ultimately leads to to the formation of two daughter cells. Those two daughter cells will again continue and increase the growth rate, and again they will divide and they will give such a new progenies as their cells have been formed due to the cell division. That's what I initially said. Cell division. If it is a cell, if it will divide, then these two cells are having the capacity to develop as a new individual. So that's why for single celled organisms or unicellular organisms there is no death. That's why they are excepted to the case of death, and death is certain for except single celled organisms or unicellular organisms. Hope it is clear, and you should remember this statement. Okay. So then how the life is continuing means the life is continuing based on both sexual method of reproduction and also by the sexual method of reproduction. But as we differentiated, only the sexual method is supporting for the survival and morely having the evolutionary characters with the variation because of formation of gametes and fusion of gametes, along with that leads to the exchange of genetic characters that leads to the formation of new progeny having the small variations compared to their parent, but it is also similar to its parent. But whereas in asexual method, we will see only the same kind of animal or same kind of progeny. Hence, the progenies formed in asexual method of reproduction is also known as clones. You know that clone refers to exact replicas. What is that exact replica? See, here you can see my this end of the palm, but you can't see my left hand. Why? Because it is exactly replica of this right hand. So right hand and left hand you can't see, but you can only find the difference based on the ring I am wearing. Right? So the same way here, there is no such small variations also. That's why in asexual method, they are morphologically and genetically exactly similar. So morphologically and genetically they are same, hence they are referred as clones. This will be asked for 1 mark, and you should have a justification like this. Because of the genetic composition and the morphological appearance, they are having the same things. Hence, the progenies produced by asexual reproduction are called clones. So there are varieties of asexual methods. There are different kinds. What are those? Let us discuss. So first thing is fission. What do you mean by fission? See, it is an organism. If you assume means if it is divided by into two means, then it is called fission. Then this fission is of two types, means a parent body which divides into two cells, that is called binary fission. If the parent body which divides into many cells or many units, then it is called multiple fission. So what actually it is taking place means, as I said, if it is a one individual parent, if it divides, then this is fission. If it divided into only two units and these units are capable of individual living, then it is called binary fission. If these units are many and those many units which are the result of fission having capable of individual living, then they are called multiple fission. Let us deal in detail about this binary fission with their kinds. As I said, binary fission may take place irregularly or longitudinally or transversely. So irregularly means you can take the example of amoeba. So amoeba is an example for irregular binary fission. There is no particular plane which cuts the amoeba into two cells, and those two cells are only the result of irregular fission. Then longitudinal fission. You can take the example of euglena. So euglena is an example for the longitudinal example. Why? How? We see the plane which cuts from this group. That's why the longitudinal fission is taken place in the euglena. Whereas the paramecium you can see the horizontal or a transversal fission, the plane which cuts into the horizontally, the plane which will pass into the central line will pass through the horizontal plane. Here in the uvula it is passed through the the longitudinal plane. That's what the difference between the irregular, longitudinal and transverse. The example for irregular fission is amoeba, longitudinal fission is uvula, transversal fission is paramecium. This is what regarding the binary fission. Coming to the multiple fission. During the multiple fission, what happens means the process of ancestration has been formed during unfavorable condition, we know that. But sometimes these cells undergoing the amitotic division means only the nuclear division has been formed. Ultimately, amitosis means the binary fission is finished, multiple fission is here due to the amitosis, and ultimately later it leads to the cytokinesis. This cytokinesis will lead to the formation of many number of cells. The best example we can quote here is again amoeba, monocystis are the two best examples for the multiple fission. Along with the plasmodium, we can also quote that is also one of the best example. Apart from NCERT also I am saying, but whatever, these are very important. Plasmodium, monocystis, amoeba, they undergo amitosis without a cellular division. They undergo karyokinesis. Repeated karyokinesis, after that they will undergo cytokinesis to release the more number of cells. They are having the capability of having an individual life. That is called multiple fission. Then coming to budding. What do you mean by budding? See, it is one organism. If a small outgrowth which takes place on the body internally or maybe the externally, and this bud which detaches from the parent body and acts as a new individual, then it is called budding. So, budding is of two types. One is endogenous type, another one is exogenous type. What do you mean by endogenous budding? Endo refers to what? Inside. Exo refers to what? Outside. See, in most of the fresh waters and some marine water sponges, most of the fresh water and some marine water sponges, we can see this kind of endogenous budding. Okay? Here we can also see the exogenous buddings. What is this exogenous budding? We will see this in the yeast. But the endogenous budding is usually takes place in the freshwater and most of the freshwater sponges, and few are some marine water sponges, especially by the structure called gametes. So these are the asexual birds which are produced by usually from the freshwater sponges and some marine water sponges. These gametes will be the asexual birds. Okay? So that is the example for budding. And exogenously means what? From outside the body. Means from the birds which protrudes outside. So here, if you assume it is the yeast, this yeast will again produce and bud, then this bud will get separated and each will act as a new individual. So the budding, especially exogenous, is the best example we can quote is yeast. Along with that, hydra. It is also example for the budding. Very important. These asexual birds, and especially the budding or whatever the types we are discussing, these are very important for the competitives. Well, so once again recalling, Budding, it is nothing but the actual growth or a protrusion from the parent body will detaches from the parent and acts as an individual. Okay? It is of two types. One is internal development of the bud, another one is external development of the bud. Internal development is endogenous budding, which is called as a gemulation or a gemule formation in the freshwater sponges and also in the submarine water sponges. Whereas external budding means exogenous budding is usually takes place in the yeast of the fungi and either of the sponges. Clear? But moving to the sporulation. So the last kind of asexual type of reproduction is sporulation. Nothing but formation of spores and releasing them and to form a new individual. That is the varieties we can see. But encystation is one special kind here. What is that? Means encystation is the process of formation of three-layered wall. I am saying three-layered wall. 1, 2, 3. Three-layered wall. Inside that, the spores will be preserved. What is that? Means during unfavorable condition, amoeba withdraws its pseudopodia or locomotive structures and it envelops with the three coated layers. So during unfavorable condition, adverse conditions primarily. So during adverse conditions or unfavorable condition, amoeba withdraws its pseudopodia and then it encysts or forms the envelope. It forms the envelope that is of three layer. This three layer is forming a cyst. En means having, cyst means wall. Having the wall on those spores is called encystation. When they get a favorable condition, this encysted spores will get bursted out to release the spores and each spores will sprout to form a new individual. That is also the best example we can take as amoeba, monocystis and plasmodium. We will see the plasmodium life cycle in the human health disease. Okay, the same thing will listen there again. And coming to the zoospores and corydiospores. These are the two types of spores we can find in the fungi. Zoospores are nothing but zoo refers to what? Motile. Spores, they are the gametes. So they are the motile gametes which usually have the flagella, how the locomotive structures are the locomotion. Ultimately, these zoospores are usually found in the lower fungi called phycomycetes. Phyco refers to alga, mycetes refers to fungi. So phycomycetes are the fungi which are having this. Best example we can quote here is albugo along with that Phytophthora. Albugo and Phytophthora. You will listen Phytophthora as a name in the strategies chapter and also in biotechnology chapter. Phytophthora infestans, late blight of potato. Okay? Remember, in between I am giving some of the content linking with the other chapters. Okay? So Phytophthora, albugo, they are the lower fungi called Phycomycetes, where we can see the zoospores along with some chlamydomonas which also form the zoospores. Then conidia, where we can see the conidia. It is also found in the fungi. Okay. So albugo and Phytophthora are Phycomycetes belong to zoospores, whereas conidia, it is again we can find the spores in the fungi. These are we can find in penicillium. This is also very important species in the perspective of microbes in human welfare. But again, we can see in respect of reproduction organism, there is conidia, which is having asexual type of reproduction in penicillium. So these are the varieties or variation, different kinds of asexual mode of reproduction that takes place in different kind of living organism. Okay, children. So in the next class, we will deal about vegetative kind of reproduction, like what you have learnt in the morphology of flowering plants called runners, offset, sucker, stolon, rhizome, corm, bulb, whatever those we will see in the method of vegetative propagation. and later on we will study the sexual mode of reproduction, and later on we will have the events of reproduction called pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization events. So just have a fast recapitulation of today's class. Is what we have discussed is only one thing very important, is the definition of reproduction is nothing but biological process of producing a new young ones from the parent of its own kind or its similar to its one. Then the lifespan, that is the natural death period, means from a birth to natural death, that the total period is called a lifespan. It doesn't depend on size, it varies from organism to organism. That's what we have quoted the crow and the parrot, and then we have discussed the mango and people tree also. As we know, crow is having 15 years and the parrot is having 140 years. That doesn't depend on size, and then death is very certain for every organism except these single-celled or unicellular organisms. And we have listed out the different kinds of NCD given examples of these lifespan of our different examples, like fruit fly, butterfly, and then rice, rose, crow, cow, dog, banana, and then crocodile or elephant, tortoise, parrot, and pineapple. So let us recapitulate those lifespans. So buttercup, fruit, rice ko rose, and then crow ko banana, what? The crocodile, and then ass ko elephant. Then we will talk banana. So then butterfly is having 1 to 2 weeks, and then fruit fly is having 3 weeks. Usually you can have in a weeks, but totally 30 days in the days. And then rice 3 to 4 months. Rose bush, not the rose flower, rose bush is having 5 to 7 years. Crow 15 years, cow 20 years, then 20 to 25, or banana 25 years, dog 20 to 30 years, crocodile, and then ass are 60 years, elephant is having 60 to 90 years, tortoise is having 100 to 200 years, and parrot is having 140 years, pineapple is having 200 to 300 years. So then we have discussed the reproduction and their different kinds, sexual and asexual, and we have briefed about their methods of differences based on the fusion and involvement of the parent and formation of the zygote leading to the variations. Because asexual reproduction is a uniparental without formation of gamete and fusion of gamete, there will be no variation, there will be no evolutionary changes. Whereas in sexual reproduction, involvement of two parental or biparental reproduction, where exchange of gamete, formation of zygote, and that leads to the variation, that leads to the decombination, that leads to the evolutionary changes, there is a more survival in the chances of life. And whereas the types of asexual reproduction we have discussed is fission, and it is nothing but division. The cellular division is nothing but a lower kind of organism reproduction. There is nothing but synonymous type of growth or synonymous reproduction, what we have studied in the first year biology or living body. So here the reproductive structures are not present usually, but they are found if there is no fusion. That's why the structures or whatever the new individuals which are formed are very identical in based on genetically and morphologically. Thus, they are called clones. Based on that, we are seeing the fusion are of two types. One is binary and multiple. Binary fusion is of three types: irregular type, longitudinal, and transversional. Irregular is amoeba, longitudinal is Evelina, and transversional is the paramecium. And then budding, exogenous and endogenous. Endogenous is the freshwater sponges usually, and some marine water sponges forming a heliums, and exogenous is yeast and hydra. Sporulation means which forms a three-layer wall in the unfavorable condition and forms the favorable condition will lead to them burst out and release the spores to spout as a new individual. And the zoospores and conidia. So incision is given example is monocystis or plasmodium or amoeba. Zoospores we can have a penicillium, we can have a phycomyces, is a lower fungi, albugo or phytophthora or chlamydomonas, elothrix. These are all the different examples. Means in the fungi, albugo and phytophthora. In the algae, we can have elothrix and chlamydomonas. Whereas in the conidia is a asexual reproductive structure in the penicillium and in the fungi. So these are about what we have learned in the today's class. So happy learning, our new thoughts to be entered into your mind, and that's the negative thoughts out of our mindset. Have a nice day. So let's, in the next class, we will study about the vegetative method of reproduction and sexual mode of reproduction. Keep tuned.